before they
There's
find
so
a
much
place.
competition.
So much competition.
Yeah,
Here you go.
what?
I get 10 appointments a month. Send your
Holy
money.
smokes, guaranteed.
Yeah.
Would you do like 200K in leases?
Yeah, it's crazy. 197 lease transactions my first year of real estate. Well, everyone's a realtor, and it's very lonely. I came from, like, my parents are very middle class. My parents are farmers. Zero financial education, zero business education. My business is changing a lot right now. A lot of agents don't understand, or realtors don't understand, that they likely don't have a lead issue. It's just a follow-up issue.
Holy shit, how do you...
It sucked, dude.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Trust me, I know. How did you do that many?
My most ever was 27 in 1 month. They take a person 5, 6, 7 times and they get rejected 5, 6, 7 times, and then you get 0. And then, you know, I've done everything. You were the first person I looked up to. You're always leading the way. I like that about you.
Yeah, I knew that. That's why I asked you.
Yeah. No, you, it's true.
From wine country to cottage country, real estate is all about lifestyle. I'm Andrew Perry, and welcome to That Fine Life. Welcome, everybody, to That Fine Life podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Perry. This is the show where we interview entrepreneurs, business owners, and salespeople, and also models. You knew that was going.
Yeah.
Ex-hockey players, goons, scrappers, and we really know what it takes to live that fine life. My guest today is Dave Hutchinson. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks
I
for
really
having me, man.
appreciate you coming down. You know, you got that here. Let's pound it.
I know.
You got that big ass truck, and have you ever left the city with that big ass
I was
truck?
going to say the gas was not fun getting here. 14-hour drive. I had to wake up at 3 a.m. No, it was not bad. Honestly, it's got like you can drop to 4 cylinders. That's it.
Don't know what that means, but
This guy, I only drive 8 cylinders.
yeah. Don't talk to me if you got 4 cylinders. Jesus, man.
I parked beside you, the new one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I like that.
Yeah?
It's big too.
Well, you know what? It's like it's the first second day with it, and
Today's the second
it's
day.
like the
What?
whole thing about this car is the dual color. Like my buddy Alex from Performance Mercedes. Shout out to Alex Evans, Alessio. He basically was going to trade me this car in September.
Okay.
And long story short, he found a better car, and now we had to make the trade early. So he got me out of the lease. So
Huge.
you're welcome, Performance Mercedes. No, I'm very happy with this car. It's like incredible. But the whole selling point of the car is the paint job. It's
Changes
like
colors?
It's like, yeah. So it's like black, and then in the night it's like, in the night, and then in the daytime
It's like a green.
it's a dark green.
It's nice.
with like speckles.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't have
But
a
it's covered in
choice.
snow right now. Is where I was going with it.
Well, downtown there's no snow. Whenever I see people come in the city with snow,
Yeah.
I'm always like, you're not from here.
Well, that's
don't
because you
get snow.
park indoors,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
But it still doesn't save your vehicle from getting stolen.
It does not. Nothing stops Range Rovers from getting stolen. So
Yeah, well, I heard Mayor Patrick Brown, who's a buddy of mine anyways, from back in the day, and he's talking about, putting the onus on some of the car dealerships or
Should be.
manufacturers to build something. But that's not what the hell we're talking about today.
That's right.
So, hey, look, first off, we just do like a soft little intro. We never really tell you that that's what we're doing, but
Cool.
now I'm telling you because I
Okay.
feel like, maybe you need some direction from time to time. You look
Yeah.
a little tired. You're just putting.
I did.
I'm
I've been up at
joking.
5 a.m. club, man.
No, you look
I was in
fantastic,
bed at
buddy.
9:30.
Yeah, I love it.
Swear to God.
See, good. Yeah, we were chatting last night too.
Oh, see, it wasn't even me that time. Whew.
There you go. Don't worry. The show isn't that serious like Joe Rogan, where he's actually turn that off. So, anyways, no. Do an intro.
Yep.
How long you been in the business? Your market, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. My name's Dave Hutchinson. I'm a broker at Rare Real Estate downtown Toronto at a luxury boutique brokerage. What's luxury? I don't know why I said that. Anyways,
No.
I've been in the business now
I love
for
it.
6 years. Majority of my business is downtown Toronto. I live on King Street West. My office is King Street West.
You're Mr.
I play,
King.
Yeah, I
West.
play and have fun on King Street West.
Yeah.
But now I'm 33. I've been in. I feel like I'm getting old. I've been in Mississauga and Pickering more than ever before because all my clients are now at the age where
Yeah,
they're settling down, having kids. They need to get out of that condo that I sold them 3-4 years ago,
Yep.
and they need a house. So now we're looking suburbs. So my business is changing a lot right now, and I'm spending a lot of time.
I've been noticing it,
Yeah.
but you've had a lot of growth between, let's just call it industries or markets
Yep.
throughout your career because you started with leases.
Yeah,
Like how much? What would you do? Like 200K in leases?
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I did 197 lease transactions my first year of real estate.
Holy shit! How do you?
It sucked, dude.
Yeah,
It's so bad.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, it was really
But
bad.
how did you do that many? Because that's like one every 2 days, or
Yeah.
less than that. That's
Yeah.
one.
My most ever was 27 in 1 month, so essentially like a lease deal a day. But it was crazy. But back then, I'm a seasoned realtor now. Back then, it was you take a client to see 3-4 places.
Yep.
They liked one of those 3 or 4 places. They put the offer in and they got that place.
Awesome.
It wasn't as competitive as it is right now, and the prices weren't as crazy as they are right now.
Right.
So, I mean, now like, I have a team of 9 now, which is crazy.
Yeah,
and it's growing. But they're doing leases because a lot of them are newer, and it's tough. They take out a person 5, 6, 7 times, and they get rejected 5, 6, 7 times before they find a place.
So much competition.
So much competition.
Wow. Are they? So I'm not very familiar with Toronto. So are there a lot? Because I heard that there isn't. But there's so many units available, like Airbnb.
Yeah.
So like, are people renting it and then doing that sublet thing?
They try to, but if they get caught, there's not very many buildings that actually allow Airbnbs.
That's right.
So if they get caught, there's actually like the board of each condo will likely monitor Airbnb website and see if they have stuff up. Right. If they have something up, they'll warn the tenant or warn the landlord, and then it'll come back and they'll either have to cease doing that or kick them out.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, because they're trying to pull that here. First time I heard about it, I'm like,
oh yeah.
My landlord was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, man, like this just seems not.
Your landlord was going to let the tenants do it.
Yeah, because it was very above board for these particular investors. Anyways, they're like, yeah, we'll rent it out. We'll give you $2,000 a month, but we're going to be running an Airbnb out of it, downtown Niagara Falls. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that. But apparently, like, and if people are watching this, they're like, that's not the rules of the landlord tenant board. Like, it's like one big Facebook group over here, the Peanut Gallery. But anyways, it's like, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to not let somebody sublet.
That's right.
Is that right?
But I think in Toronto, like if it was a house, it'd be different
because that's board rules,
right?
Right?
Exactly.
They probably trump.
Yeah, it would be the condo declaration would trump what they want to do. But if it's a house, that's a good question actually.
Right.
Because it is illegal to allow them to sublet to someone that's similar in terms of like their tenant profiles.
Really? Okay. Interesting. So let's chat about this. So downtown. Let's talk about how important it is, because you're literally going through it right now. Yep. How important it is, and I just saw on Instagram you were teaching a class on follow up boss, and is that like database and stuff?
Yeah.
So like obviously you're living proof that, for one, like literally step one, helping with leases, getting those people probably into a buy a couple years down the road, then they start having kids, and now you're moving them out of the city into the suburbs. So how important is it to keep that cultivation going for your database?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a big problem. Like a lot of I always joke about this, but because we've seen it in our brokerage training. Mm-hmm. Whenever we have brokerage training and we say, today we're going to cover nurturing your current database, we have 6 people that show up out of 100.
Yeah.
Okay, but if I labeled that training, here's how you get 100 free leads. There's a lineup of agents trying to get into this training, right?
That's the thing is, good point.
It's true that a lot of agents don't understand, or realtors don't understand, that they likely don't have a lead issue. It's just a follow-up issue. And I taught that course yesterday with this brokerage in Markham. Yeah. Awesome guys. He's a team leader. He's a friend of mine. He's got a team of like 4 or 5 agents, and they're newer-ish, and some are just a little, not as experienced, but they have a database of hundreds and maybe even thousands of people. And I was like, when's the last, let me see your database, go on follow-up boss. Let me see your last, the person that you've contacted the furthest away. 3 or 4 years. Why haven't you called that person in 3 or 4 years? They bought a house from you 3 or 4 years ago, and you haven't called them in 3 or 4 years. Or for my example, leases, right? There's 72,000 realtors in the GTA. Okay. That's insane. So if you're not in front of those people at least every quarter, they're going to find somebody else. And I learned the hard way, because when I was doing all those leases, I was very transactional. My follow-up was lack. It was nothing out there. I was chasing the next person, chasing more. I wanted what's new and fresh and shiny. Then in my database, I had them in my database. I just figured, whatever, they're there, they're renters, doesn't really matter. But my coach, I hired a business coach, I think it was like 2 years ago now, 2.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you should go back and call all those people. Yeah. And I did. And honest to God, the first 100 people I called, at least 4 or 5 of them were like, hey, Dave, oh my God, so good to hear from you. Yeah, we bought a house last year. I was like, what do you mean? Why didn't you call me? And they're like, well, we didn't hear from you for 3 years.
We thought you only did leases.
Right, exactly. Right? So you have to stay in front of the people. And it's not a lot of realtors don't have a lead problem. They have a follow-up problem where they forget to actually nurture their own database and what they have existing in their CRM. They're just always chasing new, shiny things. Online leads sound so cool. Right. Everyone's talking about it. But, you probably have enough people in your own database to mine out some really good money there.
And I don't disagree with the fact that online leads are probably good if you have a healthy budget.
Definitely.
But what we found in the last 12 to 24 months is that the lead quality for online leads have gone down so much that it's like, do you want to spend 5-10 hours a week or a day trying to call 1,000 leads or whatever that you don't know? Or would you much rather, and I just said this into an interview this morning with somebody who's potentially joining our team, where it's like, or would you rather have, 4 or 5 really meaningful conversations
100%.
with your past database in a day? Because, okay, although they might have just bought a year or two ago, it's not everybody buys their dream house right off the bat, right? So these people, you've worked with them, you know what their criteria is. This might not work in Toronto unless you're dealing with like a $40 million house. But like, for example, like your client always wanted an indoor pool, or a client always wanted to back onto a golf course, or a client always wanted, that third bathroom, but it's just slightly out of the budget, or 40 acres with rolling hills or whatever. And as those properties come up, that's an easy touch. So that's my personal go-to.
I agree,
is just like, hey, I know you're not interested in even making a move, but check this place out.
100%.
You'd be surprised how many people you say, Andrew, can we actually go see that?
Yeah.
So in my business, similar to yours, but different in the actual transaction, or what they're transacting in, where majority of my clients are like 60
years old.
Yep.
Wow.
60 plus. So they're retired. So they're coming in to the city or to the region, and they're buying, a detached bungalow, 1.5, 2 million, in and around that 3,000 square foot range. And they're now downsizing a couple of years later.
Right.
And now they're going into a bungalow town that's only 1,300 square feet, 1,900,000,
cool.
1.5, right?
So the sale and the buy on that too, right?
Well, which is fantastic. But at the same time, had I not maintained a good relationship, database follow-up, events, they could have easily called somebody else to list.
Of course, yeah. They forget about you, right? And
exactly.
On the topic of the online leads, I think one thing you said too is budgeting. If you're a newer realtor, you said it exactly right. You can toss a Facebook ad up easily. Anyone can do that. You can go on Fiverr, do it yourself for $300. You're going to generate 30 leads a month, let's say, okay, on average. Cost per lead is $12, $15 in Toronto per lead. You're going to have to go through and call each of those people at least 10 times, at least, to get a contact, to get one touch point. Sure, you can send your shitty drip campaign, but it's not going to get their attention. Exactly. You need to call those people. And then the next month you generate 30 more, and now you're at 60. Next month you got 30 more, and now you're at 90. And so on and so forth. Now you have X amount of people you got to call. You're going to spend hours. I got to the point where that's why I hired an ISA to do those calls for me and set the appointments. But even that's,
well, because even that company that you're talking about, they harass me almost every day. I'm like, so see, it doesn't exactly work.
No.
And if there is value, I will answer that cold incoming, right? So, and it's really tough because, like, in a town of 72,000 realtors, how do you really provide value? How can you do that in a simple text message or email?
Exactly. So I do the same thing for you as if I see. I'm the same. And that's what a lot of, I think, newer agents or just agents in general have a hard time understanding, is that when they contact or call these people, it doesn't have to be some groundbreaking news alert. It doesn't have to be some sort of crazy anything to tell them. I'll call them if I find a good deal. And it might, like you said, they might have just bought 6 months ago. And I'll say, hey, did you know that there's a condo for sale under 900 per square foot right in your area right now with this amount of down? And people are like, oh my God. And I send that to everybody. Yeah. And I make those phone calls, and they might not be interested, but maybe their friend is.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. But what I always find as well is that it also keeps their wheels turning.
Of course.
And then now they're keeping an eye on the market too. Mm-hmm. So you got them as well as yourself and your admins working on that. So, okay. So now you have a team of 9. So how is that structure working? Is there admins? Is there buyers agents, sellers agents, or both?
Yeah. So I have one full-time assistant, admin, and then one ISA, and then 9 agents. So most of them are new. And the way we're kind of structuring it is that they have the option there's 3 different tiers they can work with me at. Yep. So they either need a lot of help and the split is different. Yep. They need a little bit of help and the split varies, or they need no help with the odd lead I toss them and the split can be the same, and they're kind of on their own, just there for what I'm trying to solve. I think, and especially in Toronto, there's a lot of everyone's a realtor. Okay? Yeah. And it's very lonely because at the end of the day, who do you tell? I always laugh because, I tell all my friends my stupid real estate stories, when you have a funny day. Yeah. It's not funny to anybody else but realtors, Right,
of course.
But I'm telling my friends, I call my mom, this realtor, you won't believe what happened. She's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I'm like, never mind.
Yeah.
So I try to solve that by just creating more of like a family environment. And it's actually been really cool to see it evolve. It kind of came from nothing and just happened.
Yep.
But like my team is awesome. They're hanging out on their own. Yesterday, 3 of them went to go video a new luxury house on the market by themselves. They went for dinner after.
That's cool.
I like that we have that. Everyone's friends and everybody helps everybody. No one's in competition with each other. We all have the same mindset. There's enough out there for us all to eat, and it's better to collaborate together than try to have competition against each other, because it doesn't work that way.
It's interesting. And I love the way that real estate is going in that type of sense, because, as a director with Revel, I have an opportunity. Last year I met with, oh my gosh, just under 90 agents and ended up signing up like closer to 80 something. So it's like the number one thing from all of those agents, except for the ones who didn't join, was, what's important for your first year? Is it a GCI, total units?
You asked them that?
Yep. Or growth or learning.
What's the average answer, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm gonna
I love that. I love this.
So it's usually never about GCI. It's usually never about units, and it's usually always, no, I want to learn as much as I can, be supported, and grow so that my second year can be off the charts. That's the answer that I get 90% of the time. And I think I did that math right. But then if I do but then I always do push for a GCI answer. And the reason why is because I can help break it down just so their eyes are like, what? I only have to do a deal a month in order to hit 100K. They always say 100K.
Right.
That's always the entrance. But the biggest difference is that, and so here's the thing, is like all these disruptor brokerages, all brokerages are great for that particular person who's joining them. But all the disruption brokerages where it's like, I'm finding that, okay, whether you're a traditional model or you're a revenue share or a profit share or you're this or you're that, I feel like none of that matters. And for reasons why, because people aren't even joining brokerages for brokerages anymore.
True.
They're joining for teams
100%.
where now it's because not only the competition where it's like, okay, if I'm going up, like who's like the number one in Toronto, like Team Frank Leo or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Like a huge, right? So it's like, if I'm a solo agent, I got to go up against him and their team? No way. I'm going to join Dave Hutch because he's got a really good support system. Their branding's out of control. They're active on social media, their family, the support, everything, right?
Yeah,
so I think I love that, because you're right. Real estate is a lonely business. In my first year, I was like, man, like when I was like, oh, shoot, where's this next deal coming from? Like, I had nobody to hold me accountable. Obviously, I'm a little bit of a different breed. I was talking to, and same with you. You do this all the time because I see you collaborating with absolutely everybody. It's like my job was to like, okay, it wasn't a how can I get this done? It was a who can help me get there. So I was always, looking for that, top agent to interview, sit down for coffee. It didn't matter what brokers they were with.
Right. I agree. I think you're absolutely right. I think like our brokerage has revenue share, and not one of my agents, I don't even bring it up because I don't think it's important there for other, like you said, I think I agree with that. Most people want the support, the training and the family atmosphere, I think. And we don't even talk about that usually in the first meeting.
I just signed up an amazing realtor, right, on my team. And you know what? It was a split decision. She called me right after the meeting. She's like, you know what? I'm joining your team. I don't care. I'm doing it right now. It was so fast that we didn't even talk about the brokerage at all because we were just talking about the team. It was just conversation. And then, so she's going through the contract and she's like, what's this? And I was explaining it. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh, we didn't even talk about Revel at all. So it was very eye-opening. And then obviously when I talked about the brokerage, obviously she was, like, wow, this is amazing. Like we value charities over awards, awesome, right? Man. So it's like, it's one of those brokerages where it's like, that's where I got all this family stuff from. Is from the brokerage. But I love what you just said is like, Rare has rev share, but like, that's not what's important.
It's not.
And our buddy Jordy Moser, eh?
Oh yeah. Dude, he's the nicest guy. We went to I brought my team to go watch Elf. We're trying to think of like, I'm trying to do different things with my team. That's not just because,
of course,
everyone in Toronto, all these realtors, when they do their team outings, it's let's go to a bar and drink and that's it. And I was like, hey, you know what? I now have a mom on my team. I have a dad on my team. I got some guys that are single, some girls that are single. I got to make it all work. So I was like, hey, we're going to go watch Elf at this like Roy Thompson Hall with a whole ass orchestra.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we wore our Christmas suits. All the guys wore their Christmas suits, and
That's
Jordy
fantastic.
came, and Yeah, I think we lasted like maybe 45 minutes in the movie. We were having some drinks, and then, but I wanted to start with that.
Yeah.
And then we went for drinks after. But
Yeah.
awesome part of the team. He's been amazing. Everyone's awesome. Like the thing that I'm stuck on right now, truthfully, is that I had envisioned myself, like, John Cheplack.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So I'm a big fan of his. I love what he does with his coaching style, and his thing is, grow as big as possible. But I'm scared now because I have such a good dynamic with my team that I'm actually concerned that if I do grow too big, I'm going to scare away some people, and they're going to be like, well, I'm not really on board with that whole grow as big as possible.
Right. So, and here's a couple of tips to help you with that. Because of course, that's something that I think about every day with our team is like, we've got a great crew, but you can't sustain the amount of value you want to provide your realtors without growing. You just can't. It's impossible because not only are the expectations of the team members always changing, and you can set expectations when you're signing the contracts. You can set expectations in your weekly meetings. At the end of the day, somebody's always going to feel like they're getting the short end of the stick. So here's how we do it on our team to help facilitate those types of concerns. Is that the more we grow, because we're not necessarily looking to grow huge in our one market. So we're now growing out of market. So for example, the realtor that we just hired on is from Hamilton, Burlington. So she'll work with Peter up in the Oakville, Burlington area.
True.
And then she also works in Muskoka.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, wow.
So we're growing with these amazing top producers and leaders in other markets, which will then help grow that particular market, which would then allow some of our existing realtors to move up. So for example, we hired Crystal Simons as our VP of sales. She started out working part-time with us. She had a full-time job at her convenience store, the Avondale, which is where she got a lot of her business, by the way. Amazing. And now she went to mentor status within her first year with us. And then within her second year, she was now running the entire sales team. And then, Paige, who's in her second year, is now a mentor as well.
Love that.
So
Paige,
as we grow,
Paige?
Yeah. She's on Instagram for sure. Yeah. So, as we grow, our team is looking to grow their own roles.
Okay, cool.
Right?
I like that.
So again, this is just how we did it with out of market stuff. But as you grow within the city, there's definitely ways, because here's the thing. You as a leader cannot grow if you're the sales manager for 100%. The whole team. So I gave my year or two in that role, and I always made it clear that my role is now the CEO. Crystal is now the team leader in terms of the sales. Andrea Lombardo is our director of ops, who handles everything on the back end, who has her own admin that helps do everything else.
That's my next play.
Right?
That's my next play as a sales manager.
Exactly.
Is it an active, you hired an active realtor, obviously, to be in that role?
Yes.
I think that's important.
Well, because here's the thing. You can, and maybe eventually we will, hire a salary only. However, rising tides floats all boats. The motivation to make more money and to be more productive is there, because the more productive the team is, the more productive the VP is in terms of, overall compensation.
That's smart. Yeah, that's my next play, I think, for sure.
Commission incentives, full commission, those roles are where the growth really happens.
Okay.
Somebody who's on salary isn't necessarily as motivated as somebody who knows that their bigger commissions are coming.
Right.
So what we do is, obviously, all the deals that our VP of sales helps out with is that a percentage comes back to her for that.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Right.
That's awesome.
And Crystal is somebody who I trust in that role, because she's not just going to push ahead a deal if it's bad for our clients or bad for the realtors, or if there's anything shady going on. So you have to watch who you put into those roles. You can't have a snake oil salesman coming in, right? So yeah, just a little helpful tip for everybody who's listening if they're looking to grow. There's also a great book by Dan Martell called Buy Back Your Time, which will help you leverage those.
I'm a big book guy now, man.
Yeah, good. See, you got
3 books in a month and a half.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that part of the 5 a.m. club?
Yep.
Yeah. And is that
Robin Sharma?
Yes. Yeah.
Canadian author.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's right. But they have like a group though, right?
They do. I don't do the group thing
because my friend Jennifer McCabe.
Yeah.
She's on there.
Yeah. No, I don't do the group thing. I think people wake up and do the call or accountability, but the only reason I did the 5 a.m. club was take back my time, just because I didn't have enough time, and I was kind of finding myself, You wake up at 8. By the time you get to the gym, it's 8:39, and then it's like your day is started, and you're playing catch up the whole day. I don't like being reactive. I don't like being reactive. I want to make sure that I'm in control. Right?
Yeah, which is the difficult thing. Like I woke up at 5:40 this morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because I'm like, it's just one of those things where like I feel now that I'm so used to the 4:35 clock that everything I did in that 40-minute window is now I've got to
play catch up.
Yeah, play catch up with my workouts.
Isn't it crazy though? It's true. Like I did the same thing. I woke up today at 6, and I'm usually up at 5. Yeah, and I was like, I'm going back to bed because I've already wasted a whole hour. My days.
Well, the problem was, and again, this is an excuse. Reasons or results. Chris Knighton taught me that. But
what is it? Reasons
or results.
Ooh.
So are you going to create an excuse, or are you going to create a solution or a result, right? So it's perfect. So the thing is that like I got really sick. I got strep throat, and then as soon as I, got healthy, I contracted the C word. But I never know. Who knows the hell what it was.
You're sick.
Yeah. Anyways, so that lasted about a full week now. So I only worked out. Well, as soon as I got rid of strep throat, I worked out, and then the next day I was done again. So this week I'm back working out, and it's like I had to sleep till 5:40 because it's like I did legs, I did this, I did that, and then I'm like literally couldn't move my body. I'm like I need that extra 40 minutes
in the gym, the Muscle Factory at your house.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's gyms around here though, right? Like you got some gyms.
Yeah, but the problem is I have 3 kids, so. Yeah, Gabe goes to bed later than I do because one of the kids is usually still up because they're all freaking insane. Okay. Like, so sometimes I go to bed at 10. Right. And it's just like, what the hell is going on? Right. Or 11 even. So if I wake up and I travel to the gym, and one of the kids wakes up, and I'm not there to help the kid, I'll get in big trouble. So that's why I work out at home, because if a kid does wake up, I can go upstairs, bring him down so he doesn't wake up the other kids and Gabe, right? So
do you work out with them?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
They're doing squats?
They're watching me. Oh, yeah. So, okay, but enough about me. You're our guest. You're our guest. So let's shift back. So what is kind of your envision for, maybe the next couple of years for the team?
Yeah, I think I have the vision of growing the team. I do. I want to grow up bigger. Yeah. I just want to do it properly and right. Yep. But my whole career, my whole life, I've just kind of jumped into things without actually having a real plan in place. I think that's actually probably the best way to do it.
I agree.
Because if I try to make it perfect, which I do for some things, I'll procrastinate and never actually do what I told myself I was going to do. Yep. Whereas if I jump in and do it, I'm already doing it and I have to make it work. Yeah. So I work better like that anyways. So my plan is just to continue to hire and go on with my life. But
I love that.
You know what? Right now, my big focus is like this is not like a sob story, but I came from like my parents are very middle class. My parents are farmers. Yep. Like zero financial education, zero business education, zero anything. I went to university, but nothing to do with business. And so now one of my biggest shifts is like financial literacy and investing, all that kind of stuff. And my first 2-3 years in real estate, I don't want to call it lucky because I work really hard, but
the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah, it's true. And I made a decent amount of money. I was making $200,000-300,000 a year within my first 2-3 years. And I was just spending just out there.
Well, you live on King West.
And I didn't know what to do. I was just like, oh, cool. I make a lot of money. This is wicked. I'm rich now. So now what? And
I think I messaged you. I'm like, every time you got a new car, I'm like,
yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing with that?
So I think it really hit me. The market slowed a lot in the last little bit for us. And that was a big reality check for me. I was like, oh, like I don't have anything coming in. It's been a few months. And I really need, I looked at what I made the year before. Yeah. And I'm like, I sold this much, I made this much, and where is it? Where is my money? Yeah. So this year, I'm trying to switch a lot. I have a business coach, I have a financial coach. Like my budgeting is all good. I have a bookkeeper. Yeah. I just want to make sure that, huge. I want to understand, and I think a lot of realtors don't do this. They don't understand that they're running a business.
Correct.
They're not just out there being realtors. You're a business owner. You're your own business owner. And if you don't understand your business and the metrics behind that, you're never going to see, as much success as you'd like to see. Right. So for example, my coach is like, okay, you made X amount of dollars this year. Well, what's your cost per lead? What are you spending on this? How much are you putting towards this? And if you want to take, go from X and double it, well, it's actually pretty simple. You just take what you did that year and double the amount of work you did and make a little tweaks, and you can make more money strategically and effectively. Yeah. So that's my big shift right now is understanding how to be financially smart, investing in the right things. Because when you're a new realtor too, and you know how it is, you get bombarded with people all day. Hey, you want to do this? You want to do? I'm like, yeah, I'll take online leads, 10 grand.
What? Yeah, what?
I get 10 appointments a month.
Holy
Send you money.
Smokes, guaranteed.
Yeah, and then you get zero. And then I've done everything. So I've tried so many things, and that's why I think I'm actually a good mentor for my team. Is because, and same as you, I've tried everything. I've spent dumb money, and I've done it. And I can at least, if I can't show them how to be the best realtor in the world, I can at least show them the mistakes I made on the way to get where I am. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's up to them to listen or not. But
well, I was just going to say that, sometimes they simply don't believe you. And that's
true.
Okay. That's okay. Because, well, okay, then fine.
You know what, actually?
Let's give you the 100 leads and see what happens.
Yeah, I had, so a girl on my team yesterday, she's always been bugging me. We don't really do door knocking in Toronto because you can't break into a condo and do door knocking. You'll get kicked out real quick or in jail.
Yeah.
And
unless you're a political party.
That's right. That's right.
So figure that out.
I got to figure something out. But she wanted to go door knocking forever and do mailers. And I was like, look, door knocking is okay if you have if you're known in the area, you have the right scripts and you have the confidence, you're bringing value. If you go into this willy-nilly, it's not going to be much of an outcome for you. And so we sold the house in Pickering, which is like a suburb, and she wanted to go door knocking. So I was like, okay, I'll go door knocking with you. You can knock on the door. Yeah. And then she was super nervous. Yeah. Two people open the door, no, just no, close the door. Yeah. Okay. And sure, it's great. Don't get me wrong, door knocking is great for some people, just for us.
Well, different markets.
Yeah. It did not work for her at all. And at least now she could be like, okay. Yep. I did it. I see.
Well, because Niagara on the Lake is like a farming community.
Right.
Right. And it's like, would advertising in a newspaper work in Toronto?
Oh, God.
No, but it does in Niagara on the Lake. We have 14,000 people, and we've got 3 fucking newspapers. 3! You can believe it?
So you do advertising in newspapers?
So we advertise in newspapers, and it's a lot of money. But you have to. You have to. That people are reading the newspapers all the time, and door knocking works as well.
Yeah.
Now, online leads, you're never going to get any local leads.
No.
All these leads are, that's not to say, it's like 1% of all the online leads I've ever gotten in my life was a local person.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you want to farm a certain community, you have to, and that's why we literally halted. We kept our budget low so that we're not losing momentum, right? To try to cut it off and come back on. So we kept our online budget low, but we put that money and reinvested it into in-person events. So now we're having a skate event on Monday. We rented out the hockey arena for Family Day. And we invited our clients, and they get a special draw. But we also invited the public for free. So hot dogs, hot chocolate, cookies, blah 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 blah. And so we're doing an in-person event once a month.
Hot dogs, I'm coming.
Yeah, right. So okay, now
That's really cool.
we're kind of running for time, but I don't want to pressure you to keep it short, keep it as long as you want. So let's talk about, because you're growing on social media as well. How important is social media in your role? And I know that everybody talks about social media, but you actually have been converting from it.
Yeah.
So what is working? What is not working?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's funny. I always say this whenever I meet you, but you were the first person I looked up to. You're always leading the way. I like that about you.
Yeah, I knew that. That's why I asked you.
Yeah. No, it's true. You're always doing the different thing. You're not following the trends. I think that's kind of
Thank you.
The way to go. And it seems like even me, I see that, I was doing the short form reels. Now it seems like everyone's doing those short form reels.
Yeah.
And it's I'm trying to figure out what's next. But one thing that even you told me this too, a big thing for me is agent to agent referrals, because everyone from Niagara, Ottawa,
yes,
they are looking to invest in Toronto. Prices are down in Toronto. So I'm getting a lot of agent to agent referrals from different cities, which is huge for me, because I realize that, yes, I have clients on social media. Yes, I get the odd buyer through social media and some sellers through social media, but most of the people following me are realtors. Mm-hmm. So I use that to recruit to my team. First of all, I use that for brand awareness, obviously. And for agent to agent referrals in different cities, different marketplaces. But even in Toronto itself, there's a lot of people that live in agents that are very close to Toronto that just want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And they'll call me, which is huge for me. But in terms of clients and buyers and sellers, I think it's more building a brand than anything, because not nobody, but it's very rare that someone's looking to buy a house is going on Instagram and typing in Toronto Realtor and seeing my face and being like, this is the fucking guy.
Yeah.
That's not it. It's like they've heard about me. They've seen me now on social media. They've seen my TikTok. They've seen my Instagram. They've seen my YouTube.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, this guy's legit. I trust this guy now. Now I can make a decision based on emotions, and I see who he is.
I agree. And you're the first person we've ever had on. And every time I go on a podcast and talk about agent-to-agent referrals, they're like, what? Well, like, how is that a part of your actual business? But I'm glad you said that, because again, you're the first person who's ever looked at social media for that way, which is great, because that's exactly what I do. Because if you can be the absolute, go-to person. So like if you're providing stats is great, but like the stories. So that's what I love about you, is that even though that I'm worried you're going to crash, so anyways, every time you're telling your stories on Instagram stories, I'm like, I'm so engaged. I'm like, this is a great story. I'm like, holy cow, man. Like, where are you going with this? And it's like, okay, wait till the end, because this is actually a good story. So I feel like, okay, so you know a lot about your area, you know a lot about search situations, you know how to handle those search situations, as well as you can talk about stats too if you really wanted to. But, because people can get stats from anywhere. It's like, okay, I really like this guy. I like how he knows a lot about his city, but he also knows a lot about people, stories, and what they mean to him. So I think that's one way to attract a lot of agents, is because, like you said, if you're out there giving buyer seller tips, if that's your thing, go ahead. There's no whatever, but you're not getting leads from it. You're probably most likely getting referrals from this type of content more than you're getting buyers and sellers from the buyer and sellers content.
I just don't think, me as a consumer, I wouldn't go and type in Toronto Realtor and base my decision based on that. It would probably be a referral from a friend or something. Hey, who have you used? And then I'd go to social media to confirm my already decision in my head. Like, okay, the guy looks nice and legit. I get along with that person. And like I said, your clientele is different than my clientele versus everyone's clientele. So I think the biggest thing is just to be genuine. We talk about that. Everyone says that, but it's so true, because, and I always use Tom's story as an example, because when I was new, I wanted to be, in the chair and say, hi, this week the prices in CO1 have dropped 4.2%. But I was like, fuck, man, that's boring. So I just did. I did my own thing, and I attract the people that I want to work with, and the other agents that are like-minded, like myself, like you, like it's so it kind of all comes full circle.
I agree, because like my DMs are full all the time,
I bet.
And it's not about necessarily real estate, or it's not necessarily about like a referral or any type of client situation. It's always like, hey, who are you working with in terms of a lead generation company? Who are you working with? Who does your headshots? Who does your, social media? Who does this? Who does that? And some people's like, hey, do you know the best hotels to rent? Or to book? Or what's there to do in Niagara on the Lake? Hey, Andrew, I'm heading up to Muskoka. And do you know anything about that ice skating path through the forest? Do you know where that is? So it's like always random stuff. And sometimes it's like even crazy random stuff. We're like, why are you even reaching out to me about this? Anyways, okay, that's it, man. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
What's the best place for people to find you?
Instagram's the best. Instagram and TikTok at the Dave Hutch, both the same. Instagram, TikTok,
not the Dave Hutch one.
Not the Dave Hutch. As people message me all the time about that, it's wild. I'm not selling crypto. I don't sell crypto. I appreciate everyone asking.
Me too. But it's like I
can tell when they're working too, because I'll get like a lot of messages, so I can tell it's a company. A lot of people think it's a person. It's not someone being like, fuck Dave Hutch. It's just a random company trying to scam.
Exactly.
Filters.
And the crazy part too is how many people think that it's like I've been hacked. I'm like, no, I haven't been hacked. You're fine. Because one person's like, well, you should let people know if you've been hacked. I'm like, what? I'm not being hacked. This is a fake account.
It happens all the time.
There's 2 R's in my name.
Yeah, I get the same.
Yeah. Anyways, Dave, appreciate it, buddy.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Everyone, thank you very much for tuning into this episode. Whether you're watching us on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, please make sure that you're clicking follow, hit the notification bell, but also on Spotify and Apple, they also have the opportunity to leave us a review. That's how people get to know about us and want to tune in. So if you love the show, please give us a review. 5 stars only, though. Thanks.